Jamie Marsay is joining us now, biodetection expert. Now, he's used DNA sequencing capabilities developed in partnership with the Natural History Museum to create the world's first machine capable of acting as a pandemic early warning system. That sounds fascinating. Jamie Marsay, welcome to LBC News.
Good morning, Martin. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How does the machine work?
So we've based our technology around a nanopore sequencer. So we primarily collect pathogens that might be airborne, might be waterborne, and we basically look at the DNA profile or RNA profile in the case of viruses to determine whether there's something pathogenic in the air or water.
And you have to do this continuously?
We'd like to do this continuously. It gives us a better resolution in terms of being able to see some of the pathogens that might be present in any given environment.
But it's not routinely ordered at this stage, no?
So at this stage, it is an emerging technology. It was something that was funded by the US government and has been adopted by partners in the UK. It is a technology that we are looking to roll out. We have a lot of discussions currently with the UK government about how this might be piloted in the UK.
Sure. Now, you're from the company that's created this technology, right? So
that's correct.
I suppose you have quite understandably a desire that they adopt your technology and maybe pay you for it. But zooming out of that and looking at it as a nation, I know the COVID-19 inquiry is only in its very early stages. They've barely begun, but clearly the lack of preparedness, I think, has been established. This is something I guess we should get you to speak to as we look to what might happen next?
Absolutely. So we were massively unprepared for the COVID-19 pandemic, and I think that's become very evident. It cost us in the region of 310 billion to 410 billion in terms of cost, with a death toll of nearly 7 million globally. So we need a technology that allows us to detect early and novel pathogens as early as we possibly can so that we can mitigate and prepare against them. So the Biological Security Strategy Review that came out from government a couple of months ago highlights that as being a key element or a key pillar to detect early the pathogens that might be present in the air.
Is another pandemic inevitable? Statistically, it's been given this number, hasn't it, between 5 and 25. But these are things that will happen at some point. It's
inevitable. I think if you look back at history, you can see that we've had plenty of pandemics. We had the COVID one, which we're all aware of. There's HIV, there's a Hong Kong flu, Asian flu, SARS-1, MERS, which is still ever present. We've got swine flu. We're hearing about avian flu as well, which could easily become a human-borne pathogen. So it is inevitable it's going to happen. In which scale that happens is anyone's guess to some extent, but we do need to be prepared for it because it will happen.
And what would you say, apart from testing? Testing is one side of it, I suppose, to detect when a problem might exist. But what have we learned, do you think, in terms of what equipment, what resource, what skill, what knowledge do we need to put, away in a safe place to get out and deploy when it's needed?
So detection isn't the silver bullet alone. It has to work with policy, with preparedness, with vaccines, with mitigating actions, with other social distancing and other measures. So I think a lot of it has got to come from central government. There's a lot of good work being done at the Cabinet Office. We can see from the risk register that's been published, and we can also see from the Biological Security Strategy Review that was performed that it is front and centre, and then working with some of the arm's length bodies, like some of the good work that's being done at UKHSA. We've got DSTL, we have Department of Health and Social Care, all need to work together with a unified view of how we tackle the next pandemic.
All right, okay. Well, the risk of, I suppose, just before I let you go, is that risk register stuff, while quite worthy, and I know it all makes sense, but it's an easy thing for somebody, a Chancellor of the Exchequer, for instance, or the Chief Financial Officer of a company, or just you and me and our family budgets. You can put, that sounds, I'll spend that money elsewhere. The temptation to do that must be huge.
The temptation will be huge. I think what we've got to do is make sure that we're not navel-gazing. We have to look back and see the effects that COVID-19 had. It was drastic. And I think we can't have another pandemic like that in this country. It'll take us to breaking point. I think we need to make sure we learn our lessons, we do due diligence in the COVID inquiry, and make sure that we do put safeguards in place to make sure this doesn't happen again or doesn't have the same impact and effect that the COVID-19 pandemic had.
Okay, good to talk to you, Jamie. Thank you very much indeed. Jamie Marsay there, speaking to us about the risk register published by the government, in particular its focus on another pandemic and the risks therefore associated to it.